You think, Dad, here we go.
It's got that smell of expense. It's got the smell of money.
Yeah. It's what are your first impressions other than it could be a money pit?
Well, I was recently just sold my fishing boat, which I've had for a long time, and I think this is another money pit. But it's nice to be in something that's a bit historic, British.
It's about the most easy thing on the vehicle.
Yeah, well, you imagine that, can't you? You've been dropped on a plane, just going towards the ditch where the enemy is, and you're going, "Don't shoot yet, guys! I'm not ready yet. Just wait. Let me get it."
All in one piece, kind of. That wing mirror is a bit broken. Right. Well, folks, this is my 1981 Land Rover Series 3 Lightweight, and it's just a short video to show you it as I bought it. I've done nothing to this, so I'm going to give you a quick tour because I'm hoping to do some things to it. Do it up a little bit, maybe not a full restoration, but certainly do it up a bit. And yeah, you guys can kind of follow along on this channel on the journey of doing it up. So let's go, we'll take a look at the exterior first and then we'll go on the interior. So first thing you'll notice is when I bought it, the back two tyres were totally bald. They were like F1 slicks. So the guy, I bought it off, replaced those tyres, put two new tyres on the back. They're now not matching these tyres, and that's kind of something that grinds my gears a bit, as they say. So I've bought 3 new tyres. These, which are these ones back here, they're going to go on the two fronts, and also a new one for the spare at the front here. I'm not going to get rid of this. I think this is the original military one, this one on the top here. So I'm not going to get rid of that. I will actually keep it, but I've got a new spare that's going to be matching these exact ones. So everything should balance up all right. And speaking of balancing, all the wheels have got balances, have needed to be balanced, because, and the steering is a bit shocking. I'm going to have to be doing something about that. So the rear tyres are here. They are Security 7.50 16s. They're like mud terrains. I mean, when you look on the tread on them, there's some really decent tread. So I've got 2 of those on the back. The hubs and everything are actually in quite good condition. So there's the balancing weights on the wheels. I'm sure I'm going to have to get the other ones balanced as well. Everything seems to be all right on these hubs. This is the front ones. So still, they look like more all-terrain tyres. The hubs are a bit rustier on those ones, but they're still good condition, good enough. The old tyres, just so you know, are Barclay 750 R16s. As you can see, there's been a lot of water ingress on the top tyre there, so it's really rusty on the hub. So I think I'm going to get a cover for it. These tyres, this military one is the Speedways, and I'm pretty sure they're the military ones that are supplied with it originally. I'm not sure. You guys probably are better experts than I am. So I've still got the antenna tuning units or tuning boxes here. These I'm going to take off and probably do up, to be honest, try and restore a bit. Put one on each. I don't have the aerials, so I'm going to have to either invest in some. I've got both boxes here, so I'll definitely take them off and strip them down and do them up. We're going to give it a good paint job this summer. It's spring now. These are the previous owners, the Dinghy Cruising Association and the Camping and Caravanning Club. So obviously did some camping with it, but I'll probably be taking those stickers off because they're nothing to do with the lightweight itself. That vent looks a bit iffy, doesn't it? Might have to rebend it or get a new vent there. These look in good condition. The windscreen wipers, a little bit of play there actually. Quite a bit of play, but they look all right. They don't do a good job anyway, to be honest. You're better off going around with a cloth and cleaning it as you go. I've had a wing mirror replaced. That's another thing the guy did. I think it's this one. Doors, this one shuts better. I'm going to get new door seals around the edge. This door doesn't have much rust at all. So I think we can get away with this one. This is going to be okay to just straight restore. The close is all right. Again, the seat, we'll do the seats in a minute. But that one's got a nice tight fit and close on it. This was the one the person I bought it off replaced for me. It is metal arm, Britax. But this door, on the outside, it doesn't look too bad. There's a bit of pitting there, but they leak anyway pretty well at these top sill bits. But I do need some new door seals there. But on the inside of this door, it's not looking good, folks. So I'm going to get a new door top. If you can see there, there's quite a big hole that I'm not really going to patch up. So I think this door top here, I'm going to get replaced. The bottom bit's fine. The rest of the door is pretty good. It's in good nick. So the canvas cover here on the outside is actually, it's not too bad. Like I said, there's a bit of pin mould. I don't think it's been treated, but given that it's summer, I think it's going to be all right. Most of the mould seems to be on the inside. And like I say, it's kind of that pin mould. It's like that surface mould that would probably scrub off if I scrubbed it off and treated it. But yeah, I think the canvas will get replaced down the line, but no time soon. It seems to be fine. So I'm quite happy with that. And like I say, this summer I'm going to strip it off and probably have it stripped down and just be driving it open top totally. So looking forward to that. Windows are a bit iffy. There's a crack on the windscreen here, I'll show you. There is a crack on the windscreen just there in the corner, but it's not in my line of sight. So it's actually, you know, not too bad. I could probably get away with it this summer, but I will get it replaced at some point because it's part of the restoration. I'm not fully restoring it. I don't think I'm going to do that, but it's, you know, it's part of it. The guy got new washer jets for me. Very minuscule thing to do, but yeah, he got those replaced. Let's go around the back. Everything back here is pretty original. The bumperettes are fine. The paint's just cracked. I can just take those off, unbolt them, strip them back and paint them like I'm going to do with the majority of it. This pin here for the back is actually really bent. I'll show you guys in a minute. The tow hitch is fine. It's a little bit seized up, but hammer will help that. I've got a civilian tow hitch here as well, which is quite handy because I can tow modern day things through the 12 volts and have all the electrics and the lighting and stuff go through that, which is cool. So I've got the option to tow with a civilian tow hitch down here, if I can get the tow cap off there. And then I've got the option to do, which is what I think the previous owner would have done, that maybe they towed their caravan with it. So it's probably had a bit of a hammering. Yeah, and then I've got the NATO tow hitch as well. On the back here is normally where the Pioneer tools would have gone, the shovel, the pickaxe. Obviously they didn't come with the vehicle, so I'm going to get some, that's a little bit worrying there, that play. I'm going to get some Pioneer tools, get those fitted on the back, possibly after I've stripped all this down, get that Land Rover badge looking nice and good. Here's the bent split pin. This pin here is not meant to be bent like that. It's actually, you can see it's popped out of the hole. So that is an easy fix, but I need to get that back in, bent up. I'll probably get a new pin, potentially. It looks well seized up as well. Here's the other one, for example. You've got the actual pin itself. I think that one I just showed you has lost the pin. So that's all intact, and I can actually, again, just wire brush that back, tidy it up, and then the boot should open fine. Tailgate, sorry. This light up here does work, but it's looking pretty knackered. So I think I'm going to get that replaced. The other lights look all right, bit of a tidy up, and I think they'll be okay. Everything else not too bad. It's still learning what's what on this vehicle as well. I'm guessing that's the electrics for the NATO tow hitch. But that seems okay. Might replace the cap, get a new one. But you can see this one has the mud flaps, which are falling apart. In fact, I could almost pull that apart in a minute. This one has no mud flaps, so it's gone totally. But yeah, the rest is pretty good. We can get away with it. In terms of exhaust, it's not looking great health. It's okay, but I think I'm going to replace it just to make it a bit more efficient. There is rust on the chassis, as you could expect. It has been treated before. There's some welding. So I'm going to get that checked over by a professional, because I am not a professional, and we'll see if it needs any work. Given the fact there's been welding, I'm sure it will. It sort of, it all sounds good, and it's not been totally cacked in filler, which is good, and it's kind of good to, it's nice to be able to see the rust, because then I know what I'm looking at rather than it just being black painted and covered over. But we'll have a look underneath. I know you guys would like that. There is wet stones right here in front of me, which means there is an oil leak, which is not surprising at all. It's kind of obvious there's going to be oil leaking on these, but anyway, front differentials, let's just show you, not in the best state. They need a bit of work. You guys can be the judge of how bad it is. I can't really pick it up with the camera, but there's a lot of leaky oil places that I'm sure when I get an appraisal done will get picked up. Sorry folks, just trying to zoom in on it all and let you have a little gander yourselves. But there's literally oil dripping everywhere. I mean, that's cacked, innit? Look at the rear diff. Again, you can see the dark shading of the oil where it's leaking and dripping out. Not so much on the stones below, which is quite good. The leaf springs are just surface rust. It's a nice hard drive. Oh, that's come off, which is not surprising. The nylon strap that holds up, that supports the sort of axle, rear axle, so I'll get that replaced. Right, let's take a look inside. I'm going to replace this, drill out the rivets and get a new plate. It's still got all the information on that I can read, but I'm going to get that replaced. These footwells are in great nick actually, because someone's actually put some replacement metal down already. These are like the first things to go normally on most Land Rovers and most old cars. Fuel tanks, it's got the dual fuel tanks, so we labelled these left and right just so I know, because it's the way it is it's like opposite. It's weird. It's on the right tank at the moment, which is under my driver's seat, and when you flip that it goes over to the left fuel tank. The seats are not lightweight official seats. They are comfy, but I think I might get the lightweight official ones down the line, and potentially a third seat in the middle, because this isn't the 24 volt version where the batteries are in the middle. Although I think it might have been converted, I'm not sure. So I might get a third seat put there, I'm not sure yet. Let's go in. Sorry, it's not wide angle, folks, but let's take a look. The kilometre is 44,853 miles. That is, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt, because, you know, MOD mileage is always a little bit, well, it's a lot off normally. There's some ducting here, which is fine on the heater. There's no ducting on this side going up to that heater, so I need to get that sorted. Other than that, the heater does work, but they're not great. And the fuel gauge doesn't work at all. What I don't understand is, it's a dual fuel tank, so shouldn't it have dual fuel gauges? You guys let me know. It's just got one fuel gauge for 2 tanks, which I find, does that update when I switch over to each tank? Either way, it doesn't update anyway. It's permanently on E, even if on empty, even if I fill it up. The lights do seem to work, but I might replace this whole panel and just get it a little bit, or just not replace it, just do it up a bit. We've got the new choke in there. This I'm going to replace the lights, because I can't really read them, so it'd be nice to get that sorted. It's just, yeah, some of the vents are rusted out. That one works good, so we're all right there. It's just little, well, it's not little things, is it? You know, you can see the bottom of the car there. It's lots of things, but in little stages. That's what I like to say, as most Land Rover owners would say. Right, the back, quick swing around of the back. The seats look all right. They aren't going to get used tons, so that's okay. The seat belts work, but they're not really good ones, so I might replace those just for safety. And like I say, there's the pin mould, if you can see it on the top, which I reckon will come up with a bit of scrapping. Some of it won't, but we're going to keep it for now. Oh my days, it's hot in here. So I've been told that these are the original headlights. So I think they're quite hard to come by, the sort of rims, from what I've been following on groups and things. But these are all here, which is good. Front grille is fine, needs a bit doing up. NATO tow hitch at the front as well. Oh, my shadow's on it. That's all good as well. Ugh. So, things I got replaced, well, I didn't get replaced, the person I bought it off, as you can see, has replaced. We put a new carburettor in. I asked for a new carburettor as part of the deal. The previous one was the Zenith carb, but we've gone for a Weber or Weber carburettor. I've heard they are really good and they generally just are a lot better than the Zenith ones. That's what I've heard. All I know is that it starts a lot better since having this one. We haven't had as much misfiring issues as we did when we first had the Zenith one. So we've got that. The rest is it's not duck egg blue, you'll notice, the engine. So apparently I think the engine was replaced, but with a military kind of like for like, or a like for like one that isn't military. I can't remember, guys. We've got some new hose, fuel hose there. What else? That's, by the way, this is the toolbox. This is quite cool, if you can see this. This is the toolbox, which is under the bonnet. Now you can have these under the bonnet or out the back, under the wheel arch, the rear wheel arch. But my one, when I bought it, this is as I bought it, is here in the front. So that's the toolbox. The other thing we got, he put on was a new inline fuel air filter. And then right down here, we got some new spark plugs, all new spark plugs. You can see those there. Sorry guys, the footage isn't great, but all new spark plugs. And then down here, if I really brighten it up, we got a new fuel pump put in because we were having misfiring issues and I wasn't buying it until the misfiring was sorted. And so there's a new fuel pump down there now, which has hopefully solved the misfiring issue with the new spark plugs, new carburettor and new fuel pump. Combined, it seems to have done something. The rest is pretty much as is and sort of works, but might need, there's a brake fluid, might need a bit of work on it. And that's it, folks. That's as I've bought the vehicle, that's exactly what it looks like without me having done anything to it. So you can follow me along on this journey, but before we do that, follow me along and let's go for a ride with Dad. Another thing I might ask you folks, I have to start her on full choke, with the choke fully out, and I generally have to drive for a good 20 minutes before I can fully put the choke back in, otherwise it just cuts out. So maybe you guys can let me know what that means. Right, let's get in. Let's go for a drive, Dad. Are you ready to be rattled?
Shake, rattle and roll.
Rattle and roll, here we go.
Shake, shake, rust and roll. Oh, nice. Comfort.
Right, what do you think, Dad? Here we go.
It's got that smell of expense. It's got the smell of money.
Yeah. It's yeah. What are your first impressions, other than it could be a money pit?
Well, I was recently just sold my fishing boat, which I've had for a long time, and I think this is another money pit. But it's nice to be in something that's a bit historic, British, and I don't know, here would they pull this back? They've had a Bren gun, I imagine, or something.
Yeah.
Off the top.
So you can put a gun in the back there, a big gun, where they mounted their, I don't know, SLRs or whatever they were, or rifles on there was a rifle mount here, I think, in some of them.
What, a rack or something?
Yeah, and then at the back there, they could, some of them have, when the roof stripped off, they have like a massive gun at the back that it could carry as well. But hey, it's got that character smell to it, hasn't it? Of fuel and oil and.
It's a old four-stroke, isn't it? Engine, you know, reminds me of the lorries we used to have years ago.
Yeah.
But
it's not the funnest thing to drive. Well, it's fun, but I wouldn't want to go more than half an hour.
I don't think you want to go to Cornwall in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the seat belts are a little bit iffy, Dad. I'm not sure whether they work, but...
Is this a piece of string, is this it? Is this the seatbelt?
No, yeah, it's there. It's behind you more, a little bit further back.
Oh, good.
It's about the most easy thing on the vehicle.
Yeah, well, you imagine that, can't you? You've been dropped on a plane, just going towards the ditch where the enemy is, and you're going... Don't shoot yet, guys. I'm not ready yet. Just wait. Let me get it.
That's third, second. There we go. Found a gear. Third.
Look at the camera.
I know. It's bouncy. There we go. That's all the gears. We're in 4.
Is there any more left?
No, that's it.
That's it.
Well, we're just driving past one of the local pubs, and no word of a lie, we've driven past a Land Rover Lightweight, the same as mine, but in much better condition. So we're going to just pop over to it and just maybe get some shots of it for you. But it looks immaculate. There's another classic car next to it, so it just happened to be, didn't it, Dad? We just pulled past it and saw it in the front of the pub. So let's go.
It was weird. It was just by the pub. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very good place to stop.
Let's go and take a look. Looks amazing. Looks great. Better condition than mine, I'd say, Dad.
Yes, it's sort of green rather than brown.
Looks awesome, though.
It is the same one.
Yeah. He's not got the radio box. It's a 12 volt, I'd say. He's got the toolbox stored underneath there. That's what I was saying at the back, underneath the wheel arch.
Different wheels.
He's got the toolbox there. Smaller wheels, yeah. Wrangler all-terrains. But he's also not the antenna tuning boxes at the front. He's just put the wing mirrors there, which I quite like, actually. That's quite a good idea. Easier to see back. Very cool. Oh, there's the original seats as well. He's got your wool blanket in there, Dad.
Yeah, he's no fool.
That's the windscreen washer.
Is it a windscreen or is it where you put a pint of Doom and fill up?
Yeah, after the pub, yeah. Well, there you go. There's another Lightweight, at least if you guys have seen it. The old Austin's wicked. The handbrake of it. And it's like that.
An open chain. Anchor and chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's left the keys in it, ready to roll. Now that's what you got, see? I've got one.
Yeah.
I've got one of those in red in the garage, which would go in yours, and it's the same era. Belonged to my granddad.
Uncle John. Dad, what do you think?
What do you think? I think, well, it's bumpy.
Yeah.
Two bad things about it. One, we looked at that vehicle at the pub, the old one, and we didn't go in for a pint.
Yeah.
And two, it's so bumpy down the potholes, I'll pick my kidneys up on the way back. When I take your dog for a walk, I'll pick my kidneys up.
It is a bumpy ride. Those leaf springs are really bumpy, aren't they?
Yeah. I think it's a lot slower gear changes. Listen, if there's army guys out there, you just tell us. Years ago, I used to drive odd lorries around, and not odd ones with 2 wheels, not 4. Just occasional
wheels.
lorry driving. And then it was all double clutch then because there was no synchro mesh in the gearbox. I'm talking a long time ago, obviously. Yeah. So we were saying maybe this era one had synchro mesh, but I would still use double clutch, you know, especially changing down a gear.
Yeah.
You army guys know, not us, tell us, should he be double clutching with a lot of the work there and changing through the mesh of the gears on slower revs? That's what I'm thinking, because there's no rev counter, but I'm just getting the feel of it. I've not driven it, so I don't know, but that's how I get that feeling. Everything a lot slower. Tell us.
What I was saying to Dad is the easiest gear to find is actually reverse, because it's just straight over the it's just one with no cogs on it. But it's so fine, the movements to get from reverse to first, and then obviously going into second's usually all right. But that first gear change of getting into first is always fun. But I know now it's just a little bit of travel to get into first. If I've travelled for quite a way, I'm in reverse.
Now, I'm not saying that's a problem because it's served the British services well over years, but there were a couple of guys said about the gear sticks that will snap off. Take a pair of mole grips in there.
Yeah, apparently they snap.
Yeah, they snap. Well, I can see why, because people force it.
You're fiddling it to get it in gear.
No, you just force. They ram it. Like my dad said, if you stir them up enough, you'll find one.
Yeah.
That was the way it was years ago. But with that, I think it might pay you to actually look. If army guys have snapped it, trust me, it snaps.
Yeah.
So
mole grips.
Yeah, a pair of mole grips are back up, and if that shaft comes off, at least maybe you can jam something in there and you can get home. And that's why they said, always carry a spare pair of mole grips. You know, the military people will know for sure.
Do you know what? I think my fuel gauge might be working, Dad. It's hovering around quarter of a
Well,
tank.
it's sloshing around under your crutch most of the time.
I can hear
There's
this fuel
4
in there.
gallons washing around just below your underpants. So
Yeah.
it's a good job we're no smoking vehicle.
Yeah,
And who's
tell.
driven it where it's been? It's not going to be up and down roads. It's going to be over, you know, cliff edges and God knows.
Mountainsides,
Never
yeah.
mind being dropped out of helicopters.
Yeah. Cheers for you, all of you watching this. This, like I say, this Life of Mike channel is all about my life that's outside of the TA Outdoors, the bushcraft survival stuff. This is going to be a big part of it. Don't forget, head on over to Dad's channel. He's got a
Fishing,
YouTube channel called TA Fishing. I'll leave a link in the description below. We actually started, fun fact, the whole YouTube journey started with TA Fishing before TA Outdoors. So do us a favour, guys, go and head on over there. And I am regretting not going to the pub now, Dad. Look how
Yeah.
sunny it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
All those guys.
I know.
Vintage collectors.
We could have rocked up. We'd have fit right in as well.
All retirees sitting there quietly in the pub garden, having a pint of doom or thirsty ferret down
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
What do we got to come back and do? Some editing.
Yeah, for you guys. Anyway, thank you for watching, folks. And I'll keep you updated as best I can. I'll see you guys in the next episode.